Super Political Action Committee.
There's Super PAC. Super PACs. Super PACs. Super PAC.
Super PACs.
With the looming election of 2012, discussion surrounding super PACs is becoming increasingly apparent in the political world. Although emerging quite recently, super PACs have already proven to be a driving force in politics through the Republican takeover of the House in 2010 and the Republican primaries earlier this year. A super PAC is a political action committee that is allowed to raise and spend unlimited amounts of money from corporations, unions, individuals, and associations. Traditional political action committees have been around for many decades. In 1944, the Congress of Industrial Organization, CIO, formed the first political action committee in order to secure the re-election of Franklin Roosevelt. During this time, the Smith-Connolly Act of 1943 made illegal the contribution of funds directly from labor unions to federal candidates. To sidestep this, the CIO encouraged union members themselves to donate money to the campaign. This proved to be very successful, setting a precedent for future PACs. A wide variety of groups and organizations have their own PACs today, such as Boeing and the NRA. This peaceful existence of PACs changed drastically in 2010 when the Supreme Court's Citizens United decision deregulated political spending, making super PACs possible. While traditional PACs are limited by a maximum donation limit of $5,000 per donor per year, super PACs have no restrictions on donations. They are then able to raise massive amounts of money for their candidate of choice, many of the individual donations amounting $1 million or more. Some prominent donors include Sheldon Adelson, a Las Vegas business executive who has donated more than $26.5 million, Harold Simmons, who has donated almost $18 million, and Bob Perry, who has donated around $7 million. These top 3 super PAC donors are all Republicans.
Focusing on the race in November, which just released campaign finance reports suggest will be the most expensive in U.S. history.
Super PACs are primarily an economic issue. The discussions surrounding these all too powerful groups are almost entirely focused on monetary concerns. There is conflict surrounding who is donating the money, which campaign is receiving the most money, where exactly the money is going, and the legality of the massive amounts being handled. The 2012 election is proving to be the costliest campaign process in history, with super PACs already raising more than $220 million for both Republicans and Democrats, spending around $120 million so far, the majority of which is focused on character assassination of the opposing candidate. This amount spent is double the amount spent on campaigning during the same period in 2008.
Continue to fight for reform and transparency, and I urge all of you to take up the same fight. Let's challenge every elected official who benefits from these ads to defend this practice or join us in stopping it. At a time of such challenge for America, we can't afford these political games.
Originally, President Obama stood firmly against super PACs, stating, "Every American business and industry deserves a seat at the table, but they don't get a chance to buy every chair." However, as clearly demonstrated by the Republican primaries, super PACs are beginning to play a large role in politics. Obama soon changed his position, seeing the adoption of super PACs as the only way to compete financially with the GOP. The largest pro-Obama PAC is called Priorities USA, raising around $10.5 million thus far. The largest pro-Romney super PAC, Restore Our Future, has raised more than 5 times this amount. Ultimately, the power is in the hands of the wealthy, a concept that hardworking Americans have lobbied against for years. In the developed society that we live in, the fact of the matter is that money means control in almost all aspects of life. Middle and lower class Americans are at a severe disadvantage when campaigning has turned into a competition of financial superiority. Currently, there is much apprehension surrounding the massive impact super PACs have on politics and in turn the passage of new legislation. Americans are beginning to question the impact that super PACs will have on the preservation of democracy, although the Citizens United decision was ironically made with the intention of protecting the First Amendment. Ever since their emergence, super PACs have clearly had a huge impact on politics. Ultimately, super PACs have the power to greatly influence the winner of a political race. They played a prominent role in aiding Republicans in taking control of the House in 2010. Although super PACs are not allowed to directly work alongside a candidate, If they raise enough money, they can significantly increase the candidate's likelihood of winning. Therefore, the candidate is more likely to usher in legislation that will best benefit the PAC's interests, somewhat reminiscent of the spoils system under Andrew Jackson. The Citizens United ruling has led to much political conflict in recent years, notably in Montana, which has had a law in place limiting spending on political campaigns for over a century. This law is therefore in direct violation with Citizens United. After being challenged by 3 Montana companies, the state's Supreme Court refused to repeal the law, citing Montana's supposedly unique susceptibility to corporate domination. The situation has yet to be resolved and heats up as 22 states and the District of Columbia now support Montana. However, it is unlikely the court will revisit Citizens United due to its justification upholding the First Amendment.
With Romney and Bain Capital, the objective was to make money. Whether the companies they came in and worked with made money or not was irrelevant. Bain Capital always made money. If we lost, they made money. If we survived, they made money. It's as simple as that. He promised us the same things he's promised in the United States. He'll give you the same thing he gave us. Nothing. He'll take it all.
Priorities USA Action is responsible for the content of this advertising.
For over a century, the media has manipulated the minds of the public. This is especially present in the political world now more than ever. There is an inevitable connection between the government, the media, and the public, a very evident connection in the controversy regarding super PACs. The most successful super PACs direct their funds towards negatively targeting their opposing candidate through commercial means visible to Americans every day. Through this provocative advertising, the public's opinion is swayed, whether knowingly or not. If reports say a certain candidate is ahead in an election, the public will come to accept that evaluation, which can greatly affect how voters cast their ballots. Public disposition towards the Citizens United decision and super PACs is strong. Although the Supreme Court doesn't make decisions based on public opinion, they can be psychologically swayed by direct pressure shaping a legislative response. One particularly strong movement enacting this pressure is the Move to Amend organization, a group fighting for a constitutional amendment to firmly establish that money is not speech and that human beings, not corporations, are persons entitled to constitutional rights. As a result of Citizens United, age-old conflicts between the rich and the poor, Democrats and Republicans, state and federal governments, and the media and the general public have re-emerged. Although validating the legality of super PACs, this decision has led to much larger issues. The topic of super PACs will not disappear anytime soon. The ultimate consequences will eventually be revealed in this November's election.